Hello everybody, here's what's coming up tonight on Now. A video of a toddler in Skowhegan in a car has gone viral. You guys are talking about it. We will talk about it as well.
Plus the dangers of drugs. Not just officers who can be affected by those drugs. Now canines are overdosing.
Former FBI Director James Comey testified today in front of the Senate Intelligence Committee. We'll tell you what social media had as far as reaction. There was a lot of it.
Yes, this is News Center now.
The ultimate charges will be decided by the district attorney's office, but we do have a charge in mind that we are going to be forwarding to them.
A community outraged. A neighborhood watchdog posted this video of a toddler in the front seat of a car while the driver is on the phone. And
do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
The long-awaited testimony of former FBI Director James Comey, and both of Maine's senators peppered him with questions about Russia, Michael Flynn, and President Trump. Hello everybody, I'm Lee Goldberg.
And I'm Amanda Hill. We start with a situation that is stirring up a lot of folks in Skowhegan, even beyond. A Facebook user posted a video in a neighborhood watch group showing a toddler not wearing a seatbelt and kind of bouncing around in the front seat of a car.
Got a lot of people's attention. So the woman driving the car was also seen talking on her phone while this was happening. News Center's Tennyson Coleman is live at the corner of Highland and Madison Streets in Skowhegan. This is where police say the video was taken, and Tennyson joins us now. Hey, Tennyson.
How's it going, guys? I'm going to actually move out of the way so I can give you all a glimpse of exactly where I am and where police say this video was taken. Today we've learned the Skowhegan Police Department is looking into this as a criminal matter. We talked about what charges could possibly be filed, and one that this video was posted on Facebook Wednesday. A woman driving with a toddler not wearing a seatbelt in the front seat. Less than 24 hours later, and it's already been shared more than 700 times. Police have not released the name of the woman in the video, but say they know who they're looking for, and she could be facing criminal charges.
Several charges that could apply. Driving to endanger. If your driving leads to or could lead to or serious bodily injury to either yourself or occupants or anybody outside your vehicle, you could be charged.
A community outraged as hundreds of comments continue to pour in. Would you ever do something like that as a mom?
Definitely not, no. I definitely make sure that my 4-year-old child is always in a car seat and he is always buckled, never in the front seat.
To drive, as we saw on Facebook, a child bouncing around in the front seat, add the other distractions that driver obviously had going on, the dangers were very great.
This video a reminder to all parents of young children.
Anything could happen, and all it takes is a split second, and somebody could get injured very, very seriously.
All right, now police say they have a suspect in mind after they ran the woman's license plate, and they are heading to her home. Nobody answered the door, though, according to Tennyson, who checked in on this when the police arrived, and they are withholding the woman's name until they can actually come in contact with her.
So we actually wanted to know, when you speak to the police and they tell you that the child should have been in a car seat, what is the age that a child needs to stay in a car seat? So we did some digging, and according to the law, if a child is under 40 pounds, they need a safety seat. In the back seat, only less than 100 pounds and younger than 12 years old. Now, this investigation, of course, was born on social media.
Yeah, I mean, keeping an eye out for criminal activity is arguably a citizen's duty, but this post to Facebook definitely took a turn, and that's where we go to our digital diva. Katie, who's been following this thing. So.
Yeah, absolutely. So like you said, it was posted to that public Facebook group for residents in the Skowhegan area. It blew up right away. It was shared hundreds of times and got lots and lots of comments. condemning the driver, and people were outraged, understandably so. But they were also very quick to jump to conclusions. So the post was so active that it actually caught the attention of the Somerset County Sheriff's Office. And in a lengthy Facebook post of their own, they called it a real-life lynch mob, and that they warned that tagging that person that they think is the driver is actually borderline harassment.
People have to understand that even though social media is instant, law enforcement isn't and can't be. We have to follow a very structured path to take court action, and we have to dot all our I's and cross all our T's. So it can't happen in an instant sometimes, and just be patient. Skowhegan Police Department is a very good department, and I'm quite confident they're going to follow up on this.
So not only were the comments, bashing the driver, people were actually asking legitimate questions about the legality of the incident. So Lee, you actually dug into that today.
Yeah, and we all had questions when this came out, right? Because it just sent social media into a frenzy. Everybody had all kinds of things they wanted to know. So first of all, the statute says that a violation like this one, caught on video, starts at a $70 fine. That's the initial problem that you would incur if you got caught doing this.
Right, and like you said, a lot of people had questions, so we took those questions to South Portland Police Officer Rocco Navarro to get some answers for you.
Yeah, it could. I'd be willing to guess if there was an accident or something and the child was injured, that might play a different role. But just for the fact that he's in the front seat, certainly the $70 fine would be there. Child endangerment, I mean, like I said, you'd have to look through the statute, but I mean, you could push the issue, no doubt. Just be up to the district attorney if they want to prosecute it as child endangerment.
What are the rules as far as videotaping other people in their cars or?
Yeah, it's totally legal. You're on a public way, you have a right to, basically film whatever. I mean, we get filmed all the time. So, I mean, the public is in the same situation we are. And a lot of times that happens too. People will, film something going on, whether it's illegal activity, call us. I mean, there's your evidence right there. I mean, have to be subpoenaed, but yeah, a lot of times the public calls that stuff in and it's a good tool.
All right, so obviously, as we mentioned, a lot of you guys have stuff to say about this, comments that are coming in just right now. Maybe the child got out of his or her seat by themselves, which we had talked about if that's a possibility. And, as I understand it, and this is not the law as I understand it, but as a parent, this is what I would do, is you pull over. I mean, you pull over or you put the hazards on, whatever, get your child back in that safety seat before you continue to move the vehicle. But it certainly is possible that the child unbuckled his or herself. We don't know the answer to that. So.
Yeah, and lots of comments. Donna said, great parenting skills. I assume there's sarcasm.
I would imagine. Yep.
There. Okay, it is a beautiful day outside finally. We are stuck in here, but Keith is outside.
Yeah, I find my way outside when it's nice out every once in a while. It has cooled down substantially. We're at Red's Dairy Freeze here, a southern Maine landmark. It was actually packed about 10 minutes ago. We're in a lull here, and I imagine once a lot of people get out of work, it's going to pack back up. Temperatures have cooled down, though, certainly along the coastline across southern and mid-coastal Maine. Let's have a look at our current conditions. Caribou came in with a record high today of 87 degrees. They're still sitting in the mid-80s, but look at that sea breeze effect up and down the coastline. 66 in Portland, Rockland, 64 in Bar Harbor at this hour. No surprise that we've got a south wind coming in off the water, and everybody's impacted by that along the coastline. You could feel it switch over around 1 or 2 this afternoon, and some of the warmth came out of the air along the coastline. Not unusual for late spring, or really through most of the summer as well. Nice and sunny day. We are seeing some high thin clouds penetrate across southern Maine right now. Those clouds are the precursor to a much larger storm system down to our south. There's a big bulk of rain down to the south of New Jersey right now, and to the southeast. That storm looked earlier in the week like it might hit us head on tomorrow. Now it looks like it will miss us for the most part, but clouds will increase through the overnight hours, and tomorrow will be a day of what I'd call considerable cloudiness with showers around. It is not a day that's going to be raining from start to finish, but it's also not a day that I'd plan on being outside through the bulk of it, because the showers will work their way in, particularly through the afternoon hours. You can see here around noon, 2 o'clock, you start to see some showers. They work towards the coastline, and by 5 or 6, they get to down east, and then after that, we should start to clear out. and we're in for a better day as we head into Saturday. So it could have been a lot worse as far as that storm system went, but we will still see some clouds around and a few showers in addition to that. Guys, the forecast after that turns beautiful. The weekend looks great, and we'll at least be flirting with 90 by next week. We'll talk all about that in just a few minutes.
All right. Thanks, Keith.
And in his press conference on May 18th, the president was asked whether he had urged you to shut down the investigation into Michael Flynn. The president responded, quote, "No, no. Next question." Is that an accurate statement?
I don't believe it is.
Former FBI Director James Comey sat before the Senate Intelligence Committee today and said that the president was misleading or even lying when he talked about Comey's termination. The former FBI director says he was fired because of the Russia investigation, not his handling of the Hillary Clinton email scandal. He says although he was not ordered to end the investigation, he thought the president was asking him to do so.
That is the crux of today's hearing. Was the president trying to obstruct justice? Our political analysts were in studio earlier discussing today's developments. Phil Harriman, a Republican, says the testimony may not support that charge.
I think it boils down to, is there proof, factual proof, that President Donald Trump told FBI Director Comey, in my capacity as President of the United States, I'm telling you, close that file. I didn't hear or sense or get any instinctive indication that the president did that.
Now you can hear the entire analysis from Phil Harriman and John Richardson on our Facebook page. Senators Angus King and Susan Collins both sit on that Intelligence Committee. Maine's senators have said before that Comey's testimony could be pivotal in their ongoing investigation into Russian interference in the U.S. elections. Hear more from them coming up tonight at 5:30.
And coming up on Now, police officers are taking precautions as the opioid epidemic sweeps across the nation. But what about officer canines? We'll take a look at that in just a moment.
Coming up tonight on 207, what's going on in this church hall is a bread-making class. And the man who's teaching it is the priest. He is a master of bread. You're going to meet him tonight on 207.
Hey, so you might have heard the real estate market is just exploding, especially in our state. More aspiring homeowners are signing on the dotted line. According to the latest numbers from the Mortgage Bankers Association, home mortgage applications rose 10% last week. That's the highest level since 7 years ago. Analysts say it's a combination of low borrowing costs and steady job growth that is likely driving the increase, but this is a real estate person's dream right now.
You hear that Maine colloquialism that you can't get there from here, but when you look at structures like this, not only do we make it possible, we make it attractive. We make the journey that much more beautiful.
Okay, the Now team hits the road again tomorrow. This time we are headed to Prospect. Just over 10 years ago, the Penobscot Narrows Bridge was constructed to take the place of the Waldo Hancock. The bridge houses an observatory with 360-degree views, including a look over Fort Knox and neighboring town Bucksport. According to the Maine Department of Transportation, it is the tallest public observatory in the world. We're going to hear more about the bridge and its design. We'll take a tour through Fort Knox for a history lesson, and we will find out how both attractions are helping Bucksport recover from the closure of its mill. That is tomorrow at 5 o'clock.
Now, you went there yesterday.
I did.
And aren't you afraid of heights?
I am very, very afraid of heights.
So how'd that go?
So I've been to the observatory. I went 2 years ago, and I lasted 2 minutes, and I got so dizzy I actually had to sit down in the stairwell where I could not see out the windows. But this time, because I had my camera, I looked through the lens the entire time. Totally fine.
You conquered your fear.
Totally fine.
Well done.
Thanks, buddy. Well, when I looked up from the lens, it wasn't good.
All right. We won't talk about that.
Let's go through the camera. See the world through the camera. Hey, 92 years ago today, a special lady was born.
Barbara Bush celebrating her birthday today. We asked some of you to send her some well wishes. The former First Lady and her husband are in Maine for the summer, as always, staying at their place at Walker's Point.
Most of you are wishing her a happy day and good health and saying you are very happy that they are back in Maine. Still to come on Now.
You know, they become part of your family, basically.
Narcan for dogs. Police departments are considering how to save a canine officer from an overdose.
And even though Keith's outside enjoying the weather, that sunshine might not stick around for long. The full forecast from the whiteboard we can't see. Oh, now we can. Coming up next. Police officers are changing the way that they operate when it comes to the rising opioid abuse epidemic.
That includes their canine partners who could come in contact with the dangerous drugs. Now, some officers in Kentucky have a way to make sure the dogs are protected.
Officer Henry Hicks has been with Lexington Police since 1996 and with the K-9 unit since 2000. He's now had 5 canine partners.
You know, you ride around with them in your car for 8 or 9 hours a day. You know, they become part of your family, basically.
Recently, the trends in drug use have police officers and their canine partners finding themselves at risk.
We're seeing such a huge increase of overdoses amongst the citizens that the department issued everybody one of these.
These are Narcan kits, also known as naloxone, a drug that counteracts the harmful effects of opioids. Initially, the department got them for the human officers to use if they come into dangerous contact with opioids.
We've had these for almost 2 years now, and basically it's just an applicator that you would put onto the product that's in here, and then you shoot into the nasal cavity.
The Narcan kits also work for the dogs. No Lexington officers have had to use Narcan on a canine partner yet. And Officer Hicks says they follow procedures now to hopefully avoid exposing the dogs to sniffing in places where opioids might be present.
So we try to make those countermeasures in place so we don't have to worry about doing that.
But the kits are a last resort safety net.
It's just, you know, it's awful that we're getting to this point.
It is, and it's always understated the value that the canine units have and that the job that they do, and you know, they need to be taken care of. Obviously, they're hugely important. So.
Right, at least they have something in place.
Yep.
All right, Keith Carson, you enjoying an ice cream yet, buddy?
And what'd you get for me? 2 questions that matter.
Right.
You know, they've been asking me to bring ice cream back from Red's Dairy Freeze, and I was trying to explain to them that ice cream doesn't really transport that well in a car typically. Let's go over to the counter right now and talk to the 2 Sarahs here who are running the joint at the moment. What do you think is the temperature in which Mainers start to come out and get ice cream? Because it's not hot right now.
As soon as we open.
True. Probably like 50, literally.
No,
50.
they'll come whenever, in the rain, the snow.
Does it matter? Is it ever too hot for ice cream? Like if it's in the mid-90s, does that slow anybody down here, or is it just more and more people?
More people.
Yeah, more people.
Okay, hard question. You have one item that you can order from here. What is it? You've never thought of this?
Mine's the chocolate sprinkles. I always get chocolate.
Simple. Okay, how about you?
Probably chocolate gummy bear nor'easter.
I like it. Nor'easter. I like that. Thank you, ladies. The 2 Sarahs running the joint here. A little bit of a break in the action. Let's show you the temperatures right now because, as I mentioned, it's not actually that warm here across southern Maine. Got into the mid-60s at the moment after getting to 75 for a high temperature in Portland. Caribou broke a record at 87 degrees, but the sea breeze has kicked in. 66, 66, 64. That's what the coastline reads right now, and still in the 80s across the interior. Again, they're not impacted by that sea breeze, obviously, that's coming in out of the south. Few high thin clouds kind of mucking up the sky here a little bit late in the day, but overall we're in good shape through the rest of the evening as far as precipitation goes, but there is a storm to our south that will move in tomorrow. Now, most of this storm will actually miss to our east and southeast, but a few showers will work their way into the area. So without a doubt, tomorrow's not as nice a day as today is. Clouds start moving in tonight. Showers, though, don't begin in most locations until around midday tomorrow. I think we're looking at the showers mostly holding off until then, and then working in from northwest to southeast through the day. Not everyone's going to catch these showers. As you can see, the bulk of the precipitation on our small scale radar here is going out to sea. So this could have been a rainy nor'easter, but instead it is largely a mist for Maine, but it will give more clouds, and temperatures will have a hard time getting out of the mid-60s in most spots, maybe some low 70s over western Maine kind of late in the day as things clear out. Good news, though, is that we turn the corner very quickly in time for the weekend, and it looks fantastic. Temperatures in the mid-70s, mostly sunny on Saturday. Sunday's going to be a hot day. I put 86 here. I could see 88 for example, particularly away from the immediate coastline. Monday, a sea breeze kicks in along the coast. Temperatures there into the low 80s. Back up on Tuesday, that's our best chance of getting to 90 degrees. And then we get back to a cold fronted on Wednesday and temperatures drop. But a couple of really nice and warm days in there. It is worth noting on Tuesday there will be a huge spread in temperatures over southern Maine versus northern Maine. I think that we could be near 90 over central and southern Maine, and we may be more so in the 70s or around 80 over northern Maine. So your extended forecast is looking good. Again, that backdoor cold front comes through on Wednesday, but in the meantime, we hold that off. We get into the 80s both Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. If I had to put money on one of the days for being the warmest day, my money would be on Tuesday. Again, that's our best chance of cracking to around 90 degrees. The good news here, Lee and Amanda, you know, Mainers in general, not huge heat fans, it's a low humidity situation. Even as we get to the upper 80s, it won't be all that sticky. So I think it'll be relatively comfortable given the temperature.
All right, and just to make his job easier, if you get a milkshake, stays in the cup, don't have to worry about melting, you can still bring it straight back.
They do have covers there, I know
Yeah,
that.
I'm trying to help. I mean, I'm trying to help Keith out.
Right.
So good. There you go. Milkshakes. Thanks.
Okay, so Rob's not here, Cindy's not here, but Chris Costa is here with a look at what's coming up at 5:30.
Lee and Amanda, busy parents need reminders for all sorts of things. There's a push coming up to help remind you when your most precious cargo may be left in the car. We'll show you the technology that could be required on every new vehicle. Plus, it's time to hang up her apron, meet the woman who dedicated decades to feed the less fortunate, and after all these years knows it's time to say goodbye.
All right, sir. Thank you very much. We'll look for that at 5:30. News Center Now continues after we go this way.
Okay, like we said, Keith is out in the field, but hey, we still got some brain drops.
Amanda and I are going to do... No, we're not.
No.
No. Keith, you got it.
Yeah, I'll take it. I'll take it from the field as well. Today's Brain Drops is actually a follow-up on yesterday's story. If you were watching, you may have seen I did a story on wind farms. Well, here's an interesting follow-up to the wind farm. They can be seen on our Doppler radar. Let's take a look at this graphic. This is actually real time, and what you're looking at is a couple of dots out there, right? Look towards Rumford, to the south and to the northeast of Rumford. Well, those are not actual showers. Those are two different wind farms that you can see. If you zoom in on them, it's more apparent that these two dots are not moving when the other particles on the radar are in fact still moving. This is a phenomenon that's been occurring at a couple of different radar sites across the country when these wind farms are installed. There's two factors here, one of which is they protrude about 400 to 500 feet above the ridge line, but that's not too much of a problem. Radar algorithms usually get rid of that. The reason the radar algorithm can't get rid of it is because the turbines are moving, and that makes it think, guys, that it's actually rain instead of a wind farm.
Thank you very much, sir. News Center 5:30 starts right now.